Sarah with TPG Architecture. I've been part of the retail practice for nearly 10 years now. I'm currently the creative director within the retail studio. My work experience has sort of ranged from anything from department stores, neighborhood boutiques, flagship, rollout, and everything in between. So PAVE reached out to participate in this mini series and sort of gain some insight about, the transition from school to the professional workspace and sort of any advice we could give to young designers. So I think one of the most sort of rewarding and exciting things about transitioning into the creative field is the level of collaboration we do with sort of both our colleagues, partners, and clients. And that's something that's really different from the educational field. I think sort of school projects tend to be a lot more individualized. And you're sort of working towards this one final perfect presentation and deadline. And sort of when you get into the professional field, it's all about working with your peers. It's about sort of diverse input and collaboration from, not just your team, but your clients, your partners, your vendors, your contractors, and sort of all that input really makes for a rewarding and strong project. So I think, one of the things we look for when interviewing candidates is sort of how can we fill out our team? We're really a team here within each studio, and it's less about sort of, the perfect portfolio or the perfect rendering, but we're really looking for someone with, a good attitude that is adaptable, that's curious, that we see sort of adding to our team and sort of building out that group of professionals. I think something that can be challenging in this career when you're starting to work more collaboratively and you're receiving feedback from a lot of different channels is sort of understanding how to take that feedback and use it productively. I think as designers, we take so much pride in what we do and what we produce that sometimes there can be a really fine line between maybe critique and criticism. And I think it's important to really trust your peers, trust that they're here to support you, that we're part of a team, that we're all working towards the same goal. And I think having that perspective and sort of, trying to step away from maybe the feedback and not seeing it as a criticism, but really sort of a critique and a helpful perspective to sort of grow the project. So I think, practicing the collaborative skills might be a little bit challenging in the school environment because, you can't quite replicate that professional field. But I would really recommend just, reaching out to your peers, ask for feedback, be curious about what they're working on, ask them questions about your own design. Just sort of starting those levels of communication will really help you transition into the field. And I think even, participating in extracurriculars. I think back in school, I did the IIDA fashion show and we competed as the student group and won that year. But just sort of doing a creative and collaborative exercise that's outside of, your sort of project schedule in your studios is a really great way to practice those collaboration design skills. And it's fun.